Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Anna, and as you can tell by the title, we are going to talk about our finances and budgeting today. This is a really exciting topic for me. One, because 2022 we are being financially responsible, we are meeting our savings goals, and we are also going to enjoy the fruits of our labor, but in a responsible way. And if you are here from my TikTok, welcome, love to see it. I'm glad you are here. TikTok is actually the reason why I'm doing this video. I posted a bare minimum tips for young women and you guys loved it, and I posted my budgeting app and you guys went crazy over it, started asking questions about budgeting, saving, investing. So we won't really touch on the investing part of it, because that is a very broad topic, very broad, and I don't want to be responsible for people losing their money saying, oh, Anna said to invest in this. Like, I don't want them problems. So we're gonna focus on the budgeting and finance aspect more so than the investing. I'm going to be pulling up my, y'all, I feel like such a tech wizard, because I figured out how to screen record on my Mac. So before we even jump into the budgeting, there's a couple things to remember, a couple housekeeping rules. One, when you set a budget, you actually need to stick to it. You need to make it realistic. So what I might put down on my budget, it doesn't necessarily have to match yours. It doesn't even have to come close to yours, because this is very personal. And I think that's like the beautiful part about budgeting and, you know, knowing your finances, is that it's tailored to your lifestyle. It's tailored to your needs, your bills, and really like what you want to accomplish. So it's a very personal thing. So one, just remember, it's very personal. Your numbers does not have to match mine. It doesn't have to match anybody else's except what you bring in, your bills, and what you want to achieve. And then two, you actually have to stick to the budget. That's the only way it's gonna work. And really and truly, that's the only way you're gonna figure out, okay, this type of budgeting works for me, this type doesn't, this type of savings work for me, this type doesn't. Like, that's really how you're going to like get your foot in. And this video is titled Budgeting for Beginners, because I'm going to try my best to make it as basic and as like cut and clear as possible. But still, if you guys have questions, you can leave it in the comment section below. And then number three, if you are going on a budget in order to control your debt and pay off your debt faster, you need to remember that even though the goal is to pay off your debt, you also want to try to focus on bringing in more income, because that's really, I'm not gonna say the fastest way, but that is one of the ways that you can increase the time or decrease the time that you have to pay off your loan. Because the more money you're bringing in, the more money you have to put on your loan, therefore, you know, paying it off faster. So just keep that in mind before we even jump into the ins and outs of it. So the first thing that you want to do is get your debts in one place. So I am going to pull up my spreadsheet. This is the first spreadsheet that I want you guys to download. I will leave it in the description box so you can download it. And the first step towards budgeting is that you want to make sure that you have all your debt in one place. And I'm using the Snowball Method. There's another method called the Avalanche Method. I think I pronounced it that right. So the Snowball Method is pretty much where you are building a snowball. So you know, like when you see like the snowballs in the movie or the cartoon, and it's rolling down the hill, and the further down the hill it goes, the more snow it accumulates. That's pretty much how the Snowball Method works. So with this one, you are paying off, and as it calculated it for me here, you're paying off your smallest debt first, then all the way down to your largest debt. And my largest debt right here is my car payment, which is $19,000. So it goes from smallest to largest. So if you are paying, say you have 10 credit cards that you have to pay off, it would make sense with the Snowball Method to pay off your smallest balance to your largest balance. The other type of debt payment method is the Avalanche method, and that one is where you are attacking the interest rates. So as you can see here, I have about 3 interest rates. The other ones are 0. So my Amex is 3%, my Ed Financial, which is one of my student loan companies, is 7%, and then the highest, which was shocking for me, I was shocked, was my Wells Fargo credit card. Like, it's 20%. That's high. That's freaking high. My car payment is 0. I expected my card to be higher than this credit card. I expected my student loan to be higher than this credit card, but nonetheless, I'm gonna call them up on Monday and try to get this interest rate lowered. Just a quick sidebar. The way to avoid paying interest on any of your credit cards is by paying the balance in full the next month it's due. So say this month, January, your credit card balance, or not even the month, whenever the statement closes. So say your January statement closed on the 20th and your payment is due February 10th, right? So say your balance for January 20th, the last ending balance for that statement was 500. If you pay that 500 in full come February 10th, then you won't be charged any interest at all. But say you only pay like 150 or 200, you will be charged interest on the balance that is left. That's really how they get you. So I try to only use, doesn't always happen, but I try to only use money I know I'm going to be able to pay back when the due date comes for next month, because this 20% interest rate, it adds up. It adds up fast, and that's really how they get you, believe it or not. So it's these little things. Sorry, I gotta it's these little things that I want you guys to pay attention to, like interest rate and when your credit card statement closes and stuff like that, and paying attention to how much you're spending on the credit card. If you cannot afford to buy it cash, do not put it on your credit card. Straight like that. I have 2 credit cards, and these are all side notes. I have 2 credit cards. I have one that I use for big purchases, which is my Wells Fargo, because I get points back and I get that in cash, so it makes sense to use it for my big purchases. Whereas like my Suncoast credit card, which as you can see there, I only have $392 to for the balance, that I use for like food, like little miscellaneous stuff, things that are not big purchases. But any big purchase, like when I bought my couch, when I bought anything for my apartment, I put it on my Wells Fargo, because I want to get that cash back. Like, it's actually money sitting in my account from what I spent on my credit card. So that's that. Little sidetrack with the credit cards, but I just wanted you guys to know that it's just like little things like that you would never even think of that can make like a big difference in your debt life, especially with credit cards. So this is my debt right here. On the spreadsheet, you have the debt, you have debts, the balance, the due date for each one, the interest rate, and then the minimum payment. And then, as I said before, with the Snowball payment method, it arranges it for you. So which one you need to pay off first, etc., etc. Very, very self-explanatory. And then if you are somebody that wants to do the Avalanche method, so pay off your highest interest debt first, I will leave the Avalanche spreadsheet down below, and you can just copy it into a Google Docs or a Excel and go from there. All you have to do is just input the information and it'll calculate and arrange it for you below. So once I have all my debts in one place, the next step is to get your expenses all in one place. So this is my monthly expenses. I have 2 businesses that I am still funding. They're not yet profitable. Y'all pray for us. Pray for me that by the end of this year, or even before the end of this year, both my businesses are profitable and they can start paying me instead of me still pouring into them. But I have my businesses here, everything that we have to pay. For my skincare brand, this is what has to come out of pocket on a monthly basis, and the total is $368. For my aesthetic brand, which I am a co-owner of the aesthetic brand, this is what we have to pay individually, and it's roughly $22.60 a month. And then I have categories, like each category. So my home, I have rent and utilities, gas, lights, and then that total is about $21.50 every month. And these are just like my monthly charges. So these are things that I know is gonna come out on a monthly basis. So here I have my Amazon Prime and video, my insurance, internet, car payment, gas, excuse me, credit card, student loan, and then groceries. You want to put everything down. Even if you pay for water, you want to put your water bill down. Any type of subscription, be it Netflix, Hulu, whatever, you want to put everything down because you want to see the bigger picture. Like, you want to see everything that is going out on a monthly basis, no matter how small or minute or unimportant it might seem to you. Trust me, it'll all make sense being in one place. Because say for example, which we will get to, say for example by the end of the month you are in the red, then you can go back and say, okay, I have to pay my insurance, but I don't necessarily need Amazon Prime, and I don't necessarily need Netflix, I don't necessarily need Hulu. So it just gives you a picture that you can work with if need be. If you need to cut something out, if you need to cut back on something for this month, you can cut back on the things that aren't necessary. So for me, the necessities are my home. This is very important. If I don't have a roof over my head, that's a problem, you know. And then some things over here, like my car payment, internet, I need internet to work. I need insurance because I can't be driving around in a car with no insurance. I need gas in my car. When you do this part, and this is why I'm going like step by step in terms of like, okay, getting all your debt down, getting all your monthly expenses in one place. That way you can kind of see what you're working with. And like I said, if at the end of this budgeting process you are in the red, you have a starting point of where you can cut back. So this is what mine look like, my monthly charges, my savings and investments. I have my Roth IRA, which I put $500 in every month, my emergency funds, my investments, and then my Tide, I give 10%. And then over here in this section, I have my fun. I have my fun/social, so like the little things that I do for myself. So like my nails, lashes, hair stuff, dining out or going shopping for the month. I budget everything. I literally budget everything because I want to know where my money is going. So I can't even be like, I just got paid and I don't know where my money is. No, that's not an excuse because I have my budget right here. I can look and go see where every single penny went. Every penny is accounted for, period. So once we are done putting our expenses in place, the next step we are going to go to is our actual spreadsheet. So this is my February spreadsheet, and I start with my income. Again, keep this in mind. Remember I said my numbers are not going to look like your numbers, and nobody's number is going to look alike. Please keep that in mind. Okay, so in this section you want to put all of your income, whether it's from your job, your side hustle, whether you're doing Uber, whether you babysitting, whether you're doing some hair on the side, nails on the side, whatever it is, you want to put all your income. Like, you want to see everything in one place. So my salary, and then I have Happy Glow Skincare, which is my skincare brand. I have my investment dividends. So I have a Robinhood app and I do get dividends from a few stocks that I own. YouTube, I don't get paid from YouTube yet, but I'm speaking it into existence, so I put it up there. And then TikTok, I don't get paid from TikTok just yet, but I'm speaking it into existence, so I'm putting it up there. I'm manifesting it. With my skincare business, it varies. So I'm just going to, I'm gonna leave it blank because I don't want it to interfere with my actual budgeting. So I'm gonna leave it blank and I'm just gonna put the money that I'm for sure of, which is my salary for the month. This area, so the reason why we did everything before is because now we're just gonna plug it into our Excel sheet. So I have my rent / utilities, my food, remember I said was $600, electricity is $60. So we're gonna put 60. My gas was $143. And I know sometimes it can be hard to really estimate like what your gas or your electricity is going to be, or like your water if you pay for water. So what I do, I consolidate like all my balances that I've paid throughout the year. So I look at last year balances for the summer and I kind of average it out what it would be. And then I look at the winter and average it out. You always want to go for the higher end of the average, just so that you're covering all your bases. So say last month your gas came to $90, but you budgeted for $143. You're good, right? It's covered. But say for example, you were like, you know what, the lowest one I paid was $75 or $85, but this month it came in the middle and it was $100. Now you're in the red because you didn't budget enough for the gas. So I just always like to go in with the highest number. That way, whether it come being the highest that it's been or the lowest that it's been, I'm covered either way. Y'all excuse the heater. My phone is, actually my phone just went up. My internet is 105. And then guys, like this template is very much customizable. So if you want to erase this and say you want to add car payment, you just gotta click in it and it comes up, like the option comes up, and my car payment is $519. So it's very much adjustable. This template, if you want to cop this template, I will leave it below. Pretty much you just go through and you put all your expenses, what they are, list your due date for each, and then it'll show you what your total will be in expenses for the month. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I have went ahead and filled out all these cells. So I put all my expenses, the date they are due. Some of them won't really have a date, like so for my food that doesn't have a specific date because that's $600. Usually I go shopping, like grocery shopping, like the first of the month and then like the middle of the month. So it doesn't really have like a specific date. That $600 gets split up. Sometimes it's less, but like I said, I like to budget for like the max just in case I do, you know, spend the whole $600 each month. It's already there because I budgeted for it. And then I have my businesses. Happy Glow skincare business kind of pays for itself right now. Appreciate all you guys that has ordered from me. Thank you so much for the love. As far as True Aesthetics, it's still a baby, still growing, so I still have to put that out each month. Pains me, but you know, no risk, no rewards. All right, so for my personal costs, these don't really have any due dates either. Like my lashes is I do my lashes every 2 weeks. The 2 weeks can fall on different dates, so I don't know. Actually, I forgot to put my facial. I get a facial once a month. So let me put it under the lashes. So guys, look at this. If you want to add like a new row, I'm pretty sure you guys are like pro efficient at Excel. If you want to add a new row or above or below, all you do is like click on one of these numbers and then you'll see the little arrow. Then you click down on the arrow, it'll say add row above or add row below, or even if you want to delete a row, you can also go and do that. Those are the only three that I really play with. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a row below and include my facial, and that usually runs me about average 150, because I usually get like some extra things done. So I have all, and again, there's no really due date for the personal section, so I just leave it blank. I just like to know that the funds is there for me to draw from. And then my subscription, one thing that budgeting will also give you an eye on is your when everything is due. These are my savings. These I do very much last after everything is calculated. So you just want to make sure that you have everything, you are seeing everything with a bird's eye view, like you know the total cost, and then you have the due date. So I get paid on a weekly basis, but if you are someone that gets paid bi-weekly, then what you can do is, right, say you get paid the second Thursday in the month, and majority of your bills fall, you know, within that second week of the month. Then what you can do is use that first paycheck to cover all your necessities. So your rent, your car payment, your gas, your electric, internet if you use it to work from home, your car insurance. You want to use that first paycheck of the month to cover all your necessities. Things you cannot live without, things you need in order to live. Like if you don't have a car, you can't get to work, so you need to pay your car note, you need to pay your insurance. If you don't have somewhere to lay your head, how you gonna rest to get up and go to work? So take care of the necessities first. And then what I would do is, if you have like majority of your stuff grouped into like the first of the month or the second week of the month, I will call them and be like, hey, can I shift my payment dates towards the end of the month, because that works best for me and my finances. I would do that for the bills that are not necessities. So like my student loan, that's not a necessity. Me getting my lashes or buying clothes or getting my facials and stuff like that done, that's not a necessity. So I would move that towards the end of the month. And I think that's what I do now. Your credit cards, those are not necessities. So, and these companies, credit card companies, you can easily call them up and be like, hey, can you move my payment dates? And 9 times out of 10 they have no problem doing so. So try that approach. If most of your bills are like grouped into like the same week or the beginning of the month, make sure you cover your necessities. The other things, those can wait. But this is why we're budgeting, because we will see, okay, this is what I need to cover within the first of the month. And if your paycheck is $2,000 and your expenses for the first of the month is $2,000, then you're good. You don't have to worry about how you're gonna buy gas. You don't have to worry about nothing, because you budgeted for it, right? So you have the funds to do it. And that kind of takes the stress out of like just everyday mundane things like buying gas or buying food or stopping for a cup of coffee. If that's like your guilty pleasure, you can also budget it into your monthly expenses. That way it's covered. So far, my monthly income is at $13,200. My monthly expenses, when they add everything together, so my debt, what I'm paying on that on a monthly basis, my personal costs, my this shouldn't say travel, it should say business expense. No, I can't spell. Look at that. So business expense and then personal costs, along with what I'm paying on my credit cards and student loan. That shouldn't be labeled debt, but we move. So my monthly expenses is $8,795.80, and after I cover all my monthly expenses, I have $4,404.20 left over. Now remember, I didn't mention this, but we are working with the zero-based budget, and that is something that Dave Ramsey recommends. Basically what that means is that every single penny, actually I did mention that, every single penny is going to be accounted for. So we have this left over. Remember, we still have to take out our savings. We covered everything thus far in our monthly expenses except our savings. So we have to input our savings into this. And once we input our savings, then we're gonna see what is left over. And once we have our final number that is left over, then we are going to start put it either into our sinking fund. So as you can see here, this is my short-term savings slash sinking fund, whatever you want to call it. And basically what that means is, so here I have a Jamaica trip, I have an iPad Pro, and then I have a Maldives trip. These I want to plan for. My Jamaica trip is in March. That one is roughly, I want to say $2,000-3,000. I feel like I can save $2,000 to $3,000 or even come close to it. And if I don't come close to it, then I just have to rearrange my trip's itinerary. Savings, short-term goals slash sinking fund, those are things that you want to save for. So the iPad Pro is about, I want to say $500 to $600. That I'm giving myself until the summer to buy. Hopefully by then the price will even go down more, so I can save like $100 a month towards the iPad Pro. And then by the time it gets to like July, which is like my birthday month, I can afford it. Same thing for my Maldives trip. My Maldives trip we're planning for around December, January. It gives me time to plan for my trip. That's really what a sinking fund is. Like, you're sinking funds into something and eventually it's going to reach the capacity that you want it to be. So capacity in this term is the number that you want it to be, and then once you reach that, then you can pay for your thing in full versus, you know, doing an installment or, you know, taking it out on credit or whatever the case may be. So we are going to go down to our investment and long-term savings, and for that I already have my Roth IRA. I'm going to go ahead and add another row below, and I'm going to put my emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund, you guys probably already know what an emergency fund is, but I'll go ahead and say it anyways. An emergency fund is pretty much your backup. So for me, I recently had to live off my emergency fund because my line of work, I can take vacation whenever I want. It just won't be paid vacation. So my emergency fund is super important because if I want to take a month off of work, I need to be able to pay for all my expenses for that month. And as you can see, my expenses, my necessities, so I can survive by not doing my personal care. Definitely need to pay my debt, but the personal care can go out the window if I want to take a month off and still be able to cover all my finances. So I have to be able to cover this 4360 in my living expenses. I have to be able to cover my business expenses, and I have to be able to cover my debt. The personal fund and savings, you can kind of like leave out of your emergency fund, but if you can include it, it will be wise to do so. For your emergency fund, you want to have at least 3 to 6 months of your expenses saved up. So you see how down here it says my monthly expenses is $87.95. I need to have this if I want to be an overachiever. Like I said, you can leave out your savings portion and you can leave out your personal funds. But if I want to be an overachiever, I need to save $87.95.80 times, let's say 6 months. I need to save 6 months of that, and the total is $52,774.80. So that's how much I need to save. No, like I said, if I just want to get by and just cover my living expenses, so that's $43.59. I know I'm being like very like mundane, but I'm just doing it for those of you guys who are gonna ask. So along with my business expenses, which is 26. Oh, not me. So now that's our 4359 659, and I'm doing the calculations on my phone down here. Business expenses plus living expenses plus my debts, which is 640.59. Then that will bring my monthly expenses, everything included, that is necessity, not my savings and my personal fund, is 7,000, roughly 7,700. And then I would have to have, say I'm just gonna go for 3 months. 3 months of that is 22,000, basically 900. So that's really what an emergency fund is. You need to have at least, at minimum, 3 months worth of your living expenses, because say you get sick, say you lose your job, family, like life happens, and we want to be able to plan for when life happens. Well, now I'm going to prioritize my investments and long-term savings over my sinking fund / short-term goals. That goes last, because this is not a necessity. My long-term savings come way before my travels. So emergency fund, and then we are going to add another row below and do our investments. And then I also include my tithe. I give 10%. But once we have all that written down, then you want to go ahead and fill it in. For my savings, I leave that for the last paycheck in the month, because it's important, but it's not a necessity. So after I take care of all my bills, then I go ahead and put into my savings. So once I finish putting in my investments and long-term savings, your net monthly income right here will still stay the same. But if you go over here where it's showing you like a breakdown of everything, as well as like your percentage, where you're putting most of your money. So obviously you can see most of my money is going into my living expenses. Next up is my travel costs, which is not really travel, it's more so my business. Then personal costs, then debt. So this is where your true money will lie. So this is what we have left over after we have paid all our bills, after we have put money into our investments, into our savings, emergency fund. This is what we have left. Remember, this, before we did our savings, the total was 4,400, right? But after we took the savings out, it is now $2,800. When you get this net cash flow number left over, you can either put it towards your debt. So if your mission or your goal is to pay down your debt, you can take this $2,400 and put it towards each of your debts. So say you are doing the Snowball Method and you have a credit card, your smallest amount is $1,000. You can put $1,000 towards that credit card and it's done with, it's out the window. And then whatever is left, you can put it towards the next credit card and the next credit card. What we have left over after we have covered all our bases, so expenses, savings, personal funds, we have $2,844 left with 20 cents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that down the middle, and I'm going to allocate it into my student loans, my student loan debt. So I'm going to put half in my student loan debt, and then I'm going to put half into my sinking fund. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my debt. I'm going to go to my student loan. The easiest way to do this, right, is to click the beginning. You want to put equal, that will pop up. You're going to do plus 14, 22, and 10 cents. The moment you do that, it is going to show you what it is. So I'm going to be paying $1,793 onto my student loan this month. And the moment you come over here, it'll show you that figure dwindled because you allocated it somewhere. Now we have $1,422.10 left over. Remember, we still haven't taken care of our sinking fund just yet, and this is our short-term goals and what we want to accomplish. So because I have $1,422, remember I said I only need to put $100 into my iPad Pro sinking fund. So we're going to put that 100, from the 1422, and that leaves us with 1322. Now, because my Jamaica trip is vastly approaching, I'm going to go ahead and assign majority of the fund that's left over into that fund. So I'm going to put the $1,000 into my Jamaica trip, and what is left over is $322.10, and that I'm going to put into my Maldives sinking fund. And if you go back over here, you will see that there is no money left in the net cash flow. That means every single penny went somewhere. Every single penny is accounted for, and that is the goal when you are doing the zero budgeting method, because you want to make sure that every penny goes somewhere, every penny is accounted for. Now I don't have to worry that, oh, I have to save separately for my trips. No, it's already accounted for right here. So I know that was a lot, but I really did try to make it as cutthroat as I possibly can. Feel free, please feel free to ask me any questions that you want to in the comment section below. I will try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. Again, these templates will be in the description box. The monthly expenses web thing, that was done on MindMeister, and I'll see if I can create a template and leave it in the description box below. So all you guys have to do is just plug in your expenses. But my camera keeps disrespecting me. Either it's dying or it's cutting off. I'm just over it. But really, guys, that is the gist of it when it comes to zero-based budgeting. I highly recommend it. I just want you guys to live your best life. Do so by being responsible with your finances, and it starts by budgeting and knowing where all your money is going, knowing where you can make a little extra cash, and you know, just planning. Like, a janky plan is better than no plan at all, because once you have a foundation to start from, you can always maneuver and kind of manipulate it to however it needs to be manipulated. As I said before, all the Excel documents will be in the description box below, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Hit that red subscribe button and then hit the bell next to it so you can see when I drop more videos. Also, if you're not following me on TikTok, that doesn't even sound right, because you are following me on TikTok, so I don't even need to say go follow me on TikTok. And if you got Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. Both handles are Anna Cavalli. Thank you guys so much for checking out my video. If you could do me one more favor, I know I've been asking for a lot, but if you can just do me one more favor, hit the like on this video and leave a comment below so that we can get on YouTube algorithm, because you know they be a little finicky sometimes. So go ahead and hit that like button and leave a comment below, even if it's just leaving me some hearts. I would appreciate it. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.